fading back on it and makes the catch. The side retired. So McGwire leads off in the top half of the third. The Cardinals come up with 2. We head to the bottom of the second, 2-0 St. Louis.
Papa John's way. Their way. Our secret ingredient. And theirs. You see, most pizza delivery chains use dehydrated paste to make their sauce. Papa John's uses sauce made from vine-ripened tomatoes the day they're picked, then sent on to our stores. We believe better ingredients make a better pizza. That's why there's everyone else's pizza and Papa John's.
The following is rated R for rugged. So bad, it's back at $179 a month. $179. Zero down.
Zero down.
And over $14,000 truck. $179 a month.
$179.
Zero down.
Zero down.
Chevy S10.
You need this truck. It's like a rock.
Marlin Baseball on Sports Channel is being brought to you in part by your local Nissan retailers. To remind you that life is a journey, so enjoy the ride. And by Clean Shower. Hey, you'll never clean your shower again. And the people at Clean Shower, they guarantee it. All right, we'll check out the division breakdown here. Take a look at the National League wildcard race. Brought to you by Chevron.
Well, pretty much the same results to keep that NL wild card the same way it was last night. Mets and Cubs right there at the top, and San Francisco. Dusty Baker has his club hanging in there, and really, if you think about it, the Giants have the best schedule. They have the most home games left, and the Mets, if I remember, have probably more road games than any of those 3 teams.
And those 3 teams, by the way, do not meet head-to-head anymore. They are finished with each other. Now Floyd takes a strike on the inside corner. Right-hander Matt Morris got himself a 2-0 lead now as we get started in the bottom of inning number 2. Floyd with his batting average at .276, 18 home runs, 81 RBIs, and some outstanding numbers against St. Louis. Hitting about .480 against the Cardinals. That ball is high and deep. Brian Jordan looking straight up, and just shy of the warning track, he makes the catch. Boy, that looked like a McGwire fly ball.
Well, he just got under it, just missed it. It had a lot of hang time for Jordan to wait there for it.
As they say, Tommy, he just missed this one here, huh?
I think he got a hanging breaking ball. And we've seen Cliff get that bat speed back. He's choked up a little bit. We've talked about that. And we've seen the quickness over the last couple of weeks.
Now it's going to be right-hander against right-hander. Now Derek Lee in here against Matt Morris. Now we talked about Matt Morris as a rookie. I beg your pardon, Kevin Orie in here to hit. Derek Lee, a ground-out victim back in the first. Kevin Orie. Well, I was right about the right-hander against right-hander part. 1-1 to Kevin Orie. Again, Matt Morris last year, just a phenomenal rookie season. In fact, one of the best rookie seasons in Cardinal history. He led all rookies last year with 12 wins. And he led all rookies in innings pitched last year. Strikeouts and ERA. He was outstanding. His record last year, 12-9, had 149 strikeouts in 217 innings. Matt Morris. Oh, good breaking ball. That's that devastating breaking ball we told you about right there. Picks up his first strikeout.
Well, a couple of reasons it's such a good pitch. You see fastballs early in the count, then he snaps off this good hook, but look at the location. It's right about where you want to drop it. So not only was it a good curveball, it was in a great spot.
That's that noon to 6 curve. I mean, straight down. Greg's on in here with 2 outs and no one out. Think about Morris last year, Tommy. When he first came up, he was only going to be a Cardinal for a while. But he was so good that the Cardinals just could never send him back down to the minor leagues. Cardinals ahead here 2-0 in the bottom of the second. Greg's on, fouls it away. 1 ball and 2 strikes now to the Marlins catcher.
Bill Morris was the top pick out of Seton Hall. Did a lot of good ball players out of Seton Hall University.
I mean, as a rookie last year, he tied Todd Stottlemyre for the club lead in wins. Age 112. And I think, Tommy, what the Cardinals were most impressed with last year was, at a very tender age, his poise in the major leagues. Greg Zoney, a good job of hitting, but he lines it right to Tatis at third base. Has anybody hit this season in tougher luck than Greg Zahn?
No.
Man, it's a 1-2-3. End of 2 now. 2-0 St. Louis. McGwire leads off in the third.
Introducing new frequent phone hours.
Use the phone just 8 hours a week and get this free phone cradle. Use it 12 hours and get a speakerphone.
Use it 15 hours and get this cool headset.
Or stay on the phone 20 hours a week
And get a pasty complexion.
flabby body, and a great new nickname at school.
Exercised lately?
What if you had to choose between a flower and an elephant? What would you choose? What if you had to decide between a 100-year-old tree and a 1,000,000-year-old beach? Could you choose between drinking clean water or breathing clean air? Now you can choose all these things. Earthshare, the world's leading environmental groups working together. It's one choice we can all live with.
Fans of Marlins and Miccosukee Indian Gaming will present Baseball Bingo during the last Monday Marlin Thursday home game each and every month. Baseball Bingo presented by Miccosukee Indian Gaming. You call Ticketmaster 305-350-5050. Here comes Big Mac. Cardinals ahead 2-0. McGwire, this game's 0 for 1. He flied to center. He hit one about 500 feet his first time up, but straight up. And he takes one just off the outside. And so Levon starts McGwire with a breaking ball away. McGwire, 55 home runs. His next home run will tie the National League record. And a record that was set 68 years ago by Hack Wilson. And again, the cameras going off simultaneously. And yes, Tommy, the media is in town on the McGwire watch. The 1-1 pitch. Line drive and a base hit to left center. That's it? Just a single? What's going on here?
Look at he can't believe it. He actually hurt a few boos by hitting a single.
Hey, I was booing him. Man alive. Hey, Billy's booing him for crying out loud.
Look at Billy's got the net. He's got the glove. And McGwire saying, I thought I hit that ball pretty well.
You know, you would think that a net like that would make a fish nervous. But not Billy. All right, Langford now with McGwire on the bag at first. Isn't that interesting, though, when McGwire gets a walk or he pops up or he gets a base hit even? You know, in the ballpark, it's like a collective, oh, darn it. And now Langford gets aboard. McGwire stops at second, back-to-back singles. And now we'll take a look at Ronnie Gant.
Well, we've seen Ron Gant go the other way. We saw him do that his first time up. That time Langford took one to the opposite field. And McGwire still can't believe those smattering of boos after that base hit.
That's the thing about McGwire. I mean, not only does he have a chance to break the all-time home run record, but he's got a chance, Tommy, to hit 300.
You know, he was also, when he was interviewed, he talked about the beginning of this season. In his mind, he thought 50 home runs would be a good year, which it certainly is, because it would be the first time anyone had ever put together 3 years in a row of 50 or more home runs.
Well, he came in with a batting average of 293. See Ronnie Gant kind of lunging at it, and that'll be behind that first base dugout. So 293 from McGwire, and he's 1 for 2 here tonight. He's got the home runs and the RBIs, but I mean, he leads the league in on-base percentage, and of course he leads the majors in bases on balls.
And that's a good batting average considering the fact that he's a 260 lifetime hitter. He had a couple of years where he really struggled hitting the 230s. He did have one season he hit 312, 1996 with Oakland.
Ronnie Gant, 0-2. Here it comes. No breaking ball away. You were telling me yesterday, Tommy, McGwire's a 260 lifetime hitter. Roger Maris, the man he's chasing, is also a 260 lifetime hitter.
Roger Maris, with his 275 lifetime home runs, ended his career right on the nose, 260 lifetime batting average.
I'll tell you what, the Roger Maris never hit one 500 feet. McGwire does it regularly. Swing and a miss. He struck, came out. So Gant goes down on strikes. Out number 1. Levon, his 3rd strikeout.
That's where it gets tough for Levon, because entering this inning he'd thrown 49 pitches, so he's already into the 50s. He'll throw into the 60s before this inning is over. So here we are just in the 3rd, and he's used a lot out there already.
A lot of work. Well, he got Gant on a hard slider. Now here's Tatis. What Levon would love to do now is get a little double play ball to ease the load, and delivers ball 1. Tatis 0 for 1. He became Levon's initial strikeout victim back in the 2nd. The Cardinals had 2-0 here in the top of the 3rd.
And just in case you're wondering, Joe, Mark McGwire is 1 for 1 this year in stolen bases.
Swing and a miss there. You know, I was kind of wondering about that. It had to be the back end of a double steal.
Of course, he had those 2 years in a row where he had heel surgery. That really took a lot out of his home run totals. He only hit 9 home runs in each of those years.
And after those 2 years came the strike year. It also limited his numbers over his career. He is 11 of 19 in stolen bases. Now that's a number that we thought would never come up when we talk about Mark McGwire. And yet there it was.
Just to show you that our crack staff of 1, Kenny Lee, is all over the Mark McGwire numbers.
Well, Levon is all over Tatis here. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Runners on 1st and 2nd. It'll stay at 2-2 here. Cincinnati at Chicago, they've yet to get underway. Sammy Sosa, 55 home runs. It'll be getting underway momentarily. McGwire, the base runner at 2nd. Langford is at 1st with 1 out. Fernando Tatis digs in. Just off the corner. And now 3-2.
Now there's another example. Levon just missing. He's missed with some fastballs just off the plate. You credit the Cardinal hitters for being patient. Then we've made some pretty good pitches. They fouled him off. So they've really made him work.
Now Levon is ready. Check of the base runners, and here comes a 3-2 pitch. And Tatis got fisted, and the ball fouled away off to the right. Hey, at the bottom of the inning, we're going to be talking to Ned Smith of Sports Channel. Football season, Tommy, is upon us. Every Sunday morning at 10 o'clock on Sports Channel. Ned Smith will be one of several hosts of a National Football League pregame show that'll last, what, an hour and a half every Sunday morning. NFL Sunday morning. Go fly ball pretty well hit to center. Dunwoody backing up. He's got room. Just shy of the warning track, he makes the catch. Now McGwire is going to go to 3rd. Dunwoody back to the infield, and the ball heading between 2nd base and 3rd base. And Tommy, I'm wondering why Langford isn't standing on 2nd base right now.
Yeah, he was deep enough. When you're a base runner, you see that fly ball hit that deep. You really don't even need any help from a coach. You shouldn't anyway, especially when you have the kind of speed that Langford has. So his best move The only time, sometimes you get fooled. You think maybe the ball is going to go over the center fielder's head, but once you realize he's going to catch it, you still should have time to get back to the bag.
And then you go about halfway between first and second, and then you see Dunwoody overthrow. Then you just keep on going, and you wind up at second base.
Yeah, there is a reason he could have stayed at first base. Polanco's up there. If he goes to second, there's always the possibility to put Polanco on because the next hitter's the pitcher.
That's a good point. That's a possibility. Takes a call strike. Now, if that is the case, hey, that's heads up thinking. Runners on first and third. Cardinals ahead 2-0. 2 gone here. Polanco with a count of 0-1.
Either heads up thinking or also heads up coaching by Dave McKay, who's the first base coach of the Cardinals. He could have alerted Langford to that too.
So Polanco's going to get a chance to hit here. And he does. And a base hit to left center. So McGwire comes in to score. The Cardinals ahead 3-0 now. Langford stops at second. Polanco an RBI single, his 11th RBI. And now to bring up the pitcher, Matt Morris.
Well, this crowd has come to see Mark McGwire, and all of a sudden Placido Polanco's gotten a couple of base hits, this time driving in a run. So he's kind of a little bit of a showcase for the Cardinals, Tony La Russa, to show what he can do as a shortstop and as a hitter.
And Morris takes a fastball for a call strike. 0-1 the count. Matt, his first time up, struck out. So he's 0 for 1. Well, again, Levana has really had to work hard here tonight. There's a little looping fly ball, shallow right. Kotze is there, the side retired. But they do get 1 on 3 hits and leave a couple. In the bottom of the third, it'll be the bottom of the order coming up for Florida. Right now, the Cardinals ahead 3-0.
Get lucky at Hollywood Seminole Gaming. Hollywood Seminole Gaming in the heart of Broward County brings Vegas to your backyard. Every day, 24 hours a day and 364 days a year. You can play poker or take a free lesson. And we have 4 sessions of bingo every day. There's tons of cash and prizes to be won. Stop by Hollywood Seminole Gaming today. Feeling lucky?
Everyone's having a President's Day sale, but at Nissan, we're having a month-long celebration. So throughout February, you can get great deals on Nissans, like up to $2,000 cash back on select Nissan models, including 99 Maximas, Pathfinders, and Altimas. Check out the #1 selling V6 import sedan, the Nissan Maxima. And during Nissan's month-long celebration, you can get the $2,000 cash back on any 99 Maxima. Or lease a 99 Nissan Maxima GXE for only $279 a month. But hurry, because when February's over, so is Nissan's month-long celebration.
All right, we told you about Sunday morning NFL. It starts this coming Sunday at 10 o'clock in the morning, exclusively on Sports Channel Florida. Everything you could possibly want to know about the National Football League, and it's on Sports Channel every Sunday morning at 10 o'clock. NFL Sunday morning, and with us is one of the hosts of that Sunday morning show. His name is Ned Smith. Ned, tell us about the show. That's a lot of work and effort going into that show.
Yeah, it's an hour and a half, and we cover the Dolphins, the Jaguars, and the Buccaneers extensively. We talk about everything from Jimmy Johnson being now the coach with the longest tenure right now in the AFC East. If you look at all the coaching changes in the AFC East, 3 years, he's stayed the longest in any AFC East team so far. So.
Okay, now who's the football expert on that show?
We have John Conjimmy, a former quarterback at the University of Pittsburgh, played in the Canadian Football League. We also have Dave Worth out of Tampa, and we switch around guys from Jacksonville to keep up with the Jaguars as well.
All right, now who's the inside information man on that show?
Well, all of us are. We all do our own research and do.
You all have great connections.
We try. We try very hard, and you know, it's again an hour and a half, and you know, you look at some of the teams, the Dolphins and Jaguars and Buccaneers, all three could be playing right here at Pro Players Stadium at the end of January in the Super Bowl, which is going to be held here.
All right, Luis Castillo leads off here in the bottom of the third, with the Cardinals enjoying a 3-0 lead.
Yeah, so basically anything you want to know about NFL teams in Florida, that's where to check in. You get the little bit of a head start on some of the other programs, don't you?
Yeah, we say we're up before those alphabet letter networks, so we're up working way before those guys.
I'm going to take down a couple of those names you mentioned, the guys on the show, in case I have to make a few phone calls on some tips during the NFL season.
Like I said, they all do some excellent work and a lot of research.
Over the mound to Shields. On to first. Got to hurry. He got it. Anytime Castillo hits the ball on the ground like that, you've got to hurry. And again, Castillo was able to make it close at first base.
What could be some of the things of the 3 Florida teams we can look for this year?
Well, you look right away at Tampa Bay and what Tony Dungy's done there. He's taken a great offensive backfield with Ward Dunn and Mike Alsett. Now he's included a big, hefty fullback, and now he got Alsett running tailback. So that's going to be a tough team to stop running the ball. Jacksonville, you look at Mark Brunell, the quarterback, and all the things he can do with his talented wide receivers. Of course, Jimmy Johnson, he says it's enough there.
Of course, Brunell, always one of my favorites. He's a lefty. I always go for those lefty quarterbacks.
Signed a big, hefty contract recently, so he's a happy man. They brought in Bryce Paul to play defense for them. So a lot of people think that Tom Coughlin could get it done this year if they win a few more games, play more at home in the playoffs, not like they had to do it Denver.
So Brunell's a hefty lefty now after that hefty contract.
There you go.
All right.
Dan Marino going to have enough guys to throw to?
Well, you know, Jimmy said he worked out some guys today, not necessarily to sign, but to look at in case there's injuries. But I think right now, when you look at Charles Jordan, some of the things he can do, and you look at Gatson, a guy comes out of the Arena Football League, and what they've been able to hook up. But I think Troy Drayton, the tight end, is the key of the Dolphins.
Hey, Dad, I guess the question is, will Marino have enough guys to hand off to?
Man,
run the ball. Hey, Levon, ball right to third, and that's out number 2.
Hey, look at John Avery. Here's a guy only 5'9", but he runs a 71-yard touchdown in their last preseason game. But you look back at 5'9", people wonder how durable. Last year, you look at 9 of the 16 players that ran for over 1,000 yards. 9 of those were under 6 foot tall, and only Napoleon Kaufman was over 200 pounds. So you look, he fits in. He looks at the Barry Sanders and the Ward Dunns and those kind of guys. He fits in there.
Well, that's the kind of information you'll get on Sunday morning NFL on
10
Sports
o'clock.
Channel.
10 o'clock.
Hour and a half.
We're in between the baseball games that you
All
guys
right.
do such a great job of, and congratulations for the rings and how you know, it's hard not to want to watch you guys, and what a great job both of you do.
Very kind. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Ned.
All the best to you, Ned. Good luck on the show.
Thanks very much.
Have fun
Appreciate you
this
having
year.
me. Thanks very
All
much,
right,
Joe.
very good.
Good luck. We'll be watching,
Thanks.
too.
Dunwoody fouls it away off his foot. With a count 0-2. Ned Smith of Sports Channel. And again, Sunday morning NFL. It starts this Sunday at 10 o'clock. They'll give you all the information you'll need for about an hour and a half. Two gone, bases empty here. Bottom of the third. The Cardinals enjoying a 3-0 lead. Dunwoody with a single and a stolen base his first time up. So his batting average up to 256. And Dunwoody now with 9 hits in his last 19 at bats. Power has begun to show for Dunwoody. He hit 3 home runs in August. He's also begun to get some hits against left-hand pitching of late. Now, those are all certainly good signs. But he goes down swinging here. And it's a 1-2-3 for Matt Morris. Dave O'Brien joins you next. You now get together again in the 7th. Right now, St. Louis enjoying a 3-0 lead.
As the American military gets smaller, who will be there to answer the call? They will. They're the National Guard and Reserve, and they make up half of today's military forces. As an employer, you may be asked to support their mission. Remember, their response depends on yours.
Dave and Tommy back with him, and it looks like, Tommy, that Livan Hernandez is still in a little bit of a funk. We saw that in his last start. He only went 3 innings, which was a career low.
Yeah, he is. It's been a labor tonight for Livan Hernandez. He's thrown 70 pitches through 3 innings. Just to give you an idea, Matt Morris has thrown 47. So a difference in the way the 2 pitchers have worked. But you know what they say? You play 9 innings for a reason.
And Livan Hernandez usually gives the Marlins lots of innings. He's trying to sharpen things up tonight. Marrero, the catcher and the number 9 hitter, leads off. He got walked in the second. Then it's DeShields, then Jordan, and if anybody reaches, Mark McGwire will hit in this inning. Marrero came in at 261, 3 homers, 14 runs batted in. He takes the strike, 1-2, so Hernandez ahead. One thing you'd like to see Livan do, I know I would, I'd like to see him pick up the pace a little bit. He seems very deliberate out there tonight.
Well, and I think that's because he's laboring. Usually when he's in the strike zone and retiring hitter after hitter, he works a little faster.
His opponent, the young Matt Morris, works very quickly.
Yeah, he gets it and throws it.
He really does. A lunging foul, still 2-2.
Yeah, you look at all sides, though, Dave, and the one thing, though, the Cardinals have thrown some pretty good at-bats up there. They fouled off some tough pitches. They've gotten a couple of base hits on some real good pitches, and they've made Livan really work.
That one off the edge of the mound. Gonzalez handles it. 1 down in the 4th for the Cardinals. This series will conclude. The season series ends tomorrow. That will be on radio only, incidentally. Jesus Sanchez against Kent Mercker. Another big crowd expected for the finale. Last time the fans here in South Florida will get to see McGwire in person until the 1999 season. Here's Delino DeShields. He has a single and a ground out, but 2 RBIs with that base hit in the second. He had 2 hits and an RBI last night. He is leading the St. Louis team with 21 stolen bases. That's way down for him. He's had a knee injury this year. A high fly into the Bermuda Triangle. That's out number 2.
I think it's pretty amazing that the major league leader in stolen bases is Ricky Henderson. Ricky's 39, and just last night crossed the plate for the 2,000th time. He's number 5 all time now in runs scored. Excuse me, sixth all time. 6th player in history to score 2,000 runs or more.
Who's the all-time run man? Is that Ty Cobb?
Ty Cobb's number 1.
A fly by Jordan. Another play for Dunwoody, and the best inning of the ball game so far for Livan Hernandez as he does pick up the pace. That means McGwire will lead off in the next inning. Still 3-0 St. Louis in the middle of the 4th.
Go on and treat me like a jerk. Well, when he comes to play, girl, if I'm so bad, why don't you go his way? Oh, but there's nothing like your loving. Can't wait to hear you say, there ain't no one can move me in this whole world like you do.
I'm here with Tian, supermodel and a super Florida Panther fan. Tian, could you explain to some of our newer fans the different penalty calls that happen during the game?
Oh, sure, Randy. Well, let's see. There's hooking and holding.
Ooh, I like
and
that one.
elbowing,
Ow.
slashing,
Ow.
and my personal favorite, cross-checking. All of which will get you a 2-minute penalty, unless, of course, you draw blood. You're not bleeding, are you?
The Marlins and Chevron present collector pin number 6, featuring the Marlins World Championship ring for the first 20,000 fans when the Marlins take on the Cardinals tomorrow night at 7:05. Plus, get your Chevron Tic Tac Tevron game board. For tickets, call Ticketmaster at 305-350-5050. Tommy Hunt and Dave O'Brien with you, and this is Alex Gonzalez. In the 4th inning, he's flied to right 0 for 1 tonight. Kotsay and Lee after him. They're facing Matt Morris, who has not given the Marlins a whole lot to swing at. He's been on the corners of the plate. He has a couple of strikeouts, hasn't walked anybody. Nice play by Tatis. A high throw. The tag by McGwire, though, gets Gonzalez. Nice effort by Big Mac to leap, snare it, come down and tag him. He saved Tatis an error.
Yeah, Tatis almost turned a nice play into a terrible play. Made a good play by getting this ball, showing a lot of range to his left. Was able to pick up the target, had plenty of time, but just uncorked a high throw. But look at that balance by Mark McGwire. And we mentioned last night that in 1990, Mark McGwire, when he was with Oakland, did win a Gold Glove.
Kotsay fouls one back. He's 0 for 1 tonight with a fly to left field. Mark at 268. 8 homers, 51 runs batted in. Derek Lee will be after him. And that's the second out. Well hit, but right to Delino to Shields. 2 down.
Well, a couple of balls right there between Alex Gonzalez's ball and that one by Mark Kotsay. One way or the other, a couple of inches, may have a couple of men on base.
Lee is hit in 6 in a row. And he, like Todd Dunwoody, really closing the season on an uptick. Lee is a much better hitter than he was back in April and in May. He had a 9-game hitting streak in July and another one in August. So the second half, lots of hitting streaks for Lee. The count is his way 2-0. He's hit 16 home runs and a strike on the inside edge. Floyd next. He's the hottest Marlin hitter right now. 3-1 on Lee. And the score 3-0 St. Louis. McGwire does have a hit tonight, but not a home run. It was a single. Foul away right there at the plate in a full count.
They talk about young players. The Marlins just called up Preston Wilson, the youngster who was acquired from the Mets in that deal with Mike Piazza going to New York. Preston at 273, 26 home runs, 86 ribbies, had 30 doubles, good power numbers. He's a right-handed bat, and he's an outfielder.
And he's going to wear number 8. Routine ground ball to Tatis. Guns it over there this time. And that is it. The Marlins, once again, that's 3 straight innings now. Go 1, 2, 3. McGwire will lead off the 5th. Come on back. 3-0 St. Louis. Marlins Baseball on Sports Channel is being brought to you in part by Bell South, proud to be the official telecommunications sponsor of the Marlins. By Hoover, nobody gets dirt out like Hoover, nobody. And by the Cleveland Clinic, every life deserves world-class care. Mark McGwire will lead off the 5th inning for the Cardinals. They have a 3-0 lead. He is 1 for 2 with a single. And takes strike 1. Kind of knew this would be a special season for McGwire when he hit a home run in each of his first 4 games of the season. Another one, this one on the corner. 0-2. He's getting some pitches to swing at.
Yeah, slider strike 1 was a little hanger too on the inner part of the plate. That was a good fastball in a great spot.
He misses away here. The home runs to begin the season 4 in a row tied Willie Mays' record set in 1971. He checks his swing here, a little dribbler. Castillo charging, underhands and gets McGwire. So Big Mac got fooled there. He is 1 for 3 tonight.
Well, just good pitches that time by Livan Hernandez, and you get ahead, then you can make that pitch. And it was borderline, looked like a slider again, but borderline, and McGwire committed to it and couldn't Couldn't bring the bat back. Good slider down and away. Probably would have been a ball, but very close. That's one of the things McGwire takes a lot of pride in that he's learned over the years, and that is the strike zone.
Well, he's walked 143 times. So there is a possibility, as Ray Lankford hits, that he could match Babe Ruth's all-time record for 170 walks. It's a bit of a long shot, but it's been a record-setting season for McGwire. You don't put anything past him. He walked a couple of times last night, and the Marlins pitched to him. They gave him some pitches to rip at, to their credit. Even Tony La Russa said that. He said they competed in every at-bat with McGwire. A fly right at Dunwoody, and Lankford makes out number 2 in the 5th. Fans, this piece of sports medicine trivia is brought to you by the Cleveland Clinic. Who is the only player to strike out 5 times in a 9-inning game?
How about Bo Jackson?
You think? Dick Allen.
You know, I should have known that because there is a connection. A teammate of Dick Allen's back in 1975.
Ronnie Gant launches one deep and gone. This baby way out of here. Home run for Ron Gant. Well, it seems a lot of the other Cardinals are getting the home run swings other than McGwire. Last night it was Brian Jordan, and tonight Ron Gant with his 22nd. No question about it. 4-0 St. Louis.
Well, that's the thing about the Cardinals. You focus on Mark McGwire, but you have guys like Jordan and Lankford and Gant also with over 20 home runs.
It's the 30th home run allowed by Livan Hernandez in the '98 season.
So here's a look at our Discover card playback. Let's see where this pitch was. Yep, it's up, it's in a great spot for Gant, and he knew it.
Tatis takes the strike, and it's quickly 0-2. Only 3 other National League pitchers have given up more home runs this season than Livan has. Again, he's given up 30. Tatis 0 for 2. Base is empty. And a ball high.
The Cardinals have done a lot of damage tonight with 2 out. All their runs have scored, all 4 with 2 outs, and 3 hits they've put together. So that's something that Tony La Russa and all managers love to see.
That one headed for the alley. Kotze will not, or will he? No, he won't be able to get it. Takes a bounce up into the stands, and that'll be an automatic double. Boy, Mark gave it a heck of an effort. A dead sprint. It avoided him, and it's a double for Tatis. He closed very quickly, almost made a heck of a play.
Yeah, he got a good jump. I thought he had a real good angle, too. That's why all of a sudden it looked like he might come up with that, but the ball was driven well. That gives you a little idea of the kind of power Tatis has. Anytime you can drive a ball this hard and this far to the opposite field, you do have some power. But out of nowhere came Mark Kotze. Looked like he might reach up and make the catch, but it was just over his head.
He gave it a heck of an effort. Here's Polanco. Placido Polanco already with 2 singles and an RBI. The Cardinals now with 8 hits and a 4-0 lead. A victory tonight by the Cardinals will tie up the season series. The Marlins currently have the lead 4-3. So they're trying to tie it up, and tomorrow would then represent the rubber match, the last meeting of the year.
Well, a victory tonight by the Cardinals would also be the 1,547th for Tony La Russa. He's the winningest active manager.
The 1-1, just a little bit outside. Buddy Bell was fired today as the manager of the Detroit Tigers.
Yeah, one of Buddy's sidekicks, a good friend of mine, Larry Parrish, is going to take over for the rest of the season as the manager of the Tigers.
You think he has a shot to be the full-time manager? They're calling him the interim guy right now. Or would they go elsewhere for a big-ticket manager?
Well, Jay Randolph was talking a little bit in our pregame, mentioning Jim Leland's name. The Detroit area, not far from Perrysburg, Ohio, where Jim grew up.
Yeah, Jim grew up a Tiger fan.
Also managed many years in the Tiger minor league organization.
Yeah, he sure did. Polanco takes ball 4. Third walk issued by Hernandez. He just really hasn't got into a serious groove. He did get him in order in the 4th, and then the 2 men in the 5th inning before the 2-out homer by Ron Gant. So at one point he had set down 6 in a row, but now a homer, a double, and a walk, and 2 on for Matt Morris. And the pitcher takes a strike. He's been caught looking and fly to right. The Cardinals ahead 4-0. And here is the 100th pitch of the night for Levon, and it's a strike.
Well, that's a lot, and we're not even through the 5th.
He only lasted 3 innings in his last start, as Tatis and Polanco get their leads at 2nd and 1st. That was the shortest outing of his career. He obviously didn't have it in that game. He gave up 7 hits, 4 runs, walked a bunch of people in the 3 innings, and tonight he has struggled to find something. The command has not been with him. 2-2 on the pitcher, Matt Morris. Swing and a miss, and down he goes for strike 3. Ron Gant hits a home run. 2 men left in the inning, but Ron Gant leaves no one as he drives this one way over the teal tower to give the Cardinals a 4-0 lead.
Help wanted. Immediate openings available for the most important jobs in America, helping the organizations that help children. Whatever you can do, in whatever time you have, you can make a difference. To learn how you can help in your community, reach us at this web address and number. We're fighting for the children. Whose side are you on?
Introducing new frequent phone hours.
Use the phone just 8 hours a week and get this free phone cradle. Use it 12 hours and get a speakerphone.
Use it 15 hours and get this cool headset.
Or stay on the phone 20 hours a week
And get a pasty complexion.
flabby body, and a great new nickname at school.
Exercised lately?
Hey folks, more than 300 South Florida kids enjoy Major League Baseball at Pro Player for every Marlins home game because of the Ballpark Buddies Corporate Partners for Youth program. And tonight American Airlines is hosting kids from Broward County Parks and Recreation, courtesy of the Ballpark Buddies Corporate Partners for Youth. Another big crowd tonight in the area of 40,000. And with apologies to Cliff Floyd, Kevin Ory, and Greg Zahn, they are here to see Mark McGwire swing the bat mainly, and 4-0 St. Louis leads the game. They've out-hit the Marlins 8-1. Cliff Floyd 0 for 1 with a fly to right field. Big Mac does have a hit. That was a 3rd inning single. He doesn't get many singles.
He actually has more home runs than singles.
Isn't that incredible?
This year.
Cliff Floyd entering the month of September, this being the first game of the month, swinging a real good bat. Cliff has been on a tear. He's hit safely in 4 in a row. He had an outstanding road trip through Cincinnati and St. Louis in reverse order, and hitting .368 in the 1st inning of games. Here he lines a foul wickedly. That one bouncing into the bullpen. Let's get a look at the scoreboard, brought to you by Chevrolet. In the 6th inning, Arizona with the lead. Houston on top of Atlanta in the 3rd. Sammy Sosa goes into that game with the Cubs 55 home runs, tied with Mark McGwire. And Floyd slices a base hit to the opposite field. Boy, Tommy, he's done a whole lot more of that in recent days too, taking the ball to left field That ends a string of 12 in a row retired by Morris.
Well, I was talking about that the other night. The reason for that is because he's choked up, he's quicker, so by being quicker, he can stay back on the ball better. And when you stay back, you can take that pitch the other way and still get some base hits, and that's what he's been able to do.
A 5-game hitting streak for the Marlin left fielder. And closing in on 30 stolen bases as well, which is a goal of Cliff's. He's got 27. Kevin Orie is 0 for 1 with a strikeout. That occurred in the second.
Well, he's 0 for 1 here on his 26th birthday. So happy birthday to Kevin Orie. Still a young ball player with a lot of time, a lot of future left.
Two and nothing. Morris hasn't walked anybody. He gave up the leadoff single to Dunwoody in the first inning. Then he retired the next 12 in a row, working pretty quickly. Now we'll see how he works from the stretch again, because it's only happened once in a game. 2-1. On the American League scoreboard, Chicago leads the Orioles in the 5th. The Red Sox have gone ahead of Seattle in the 5th. The Angels and Indians tied up. Detroit under their new manager with a lead. The Yankees ahead 6-0 in the 3rd.
But David Wells on his way to go 17-2 with a win there. How about what David Wells did the other day, presenting players, coaches, even some front office people. He spent $75,000 and bought rings to commemorate his perfect game against the Twins.
He even gave one to George Steinbrenner.
Had the Yankee logo, had a logo of the stadium on it, the date.
It had the time of the final out of his perfect game also on the ring. So David Wells dipping into his own pocket for a very nice memento. Three and 2 the count on Orie. Floyd takes off and the pitch is inside. That's ball 4, so the Marlins have a couple of runners on in the 5th inning. Greg Zahn coming up. Nobody out.
By the way, I was talking about McGwire with his single having hit more home runs than singles, and if you're counting, yes, he has 55 home runs. He has 52 singles.
More home runs than base hits.
He has 19 doubles and, of course, no triples.
Zahn with a chance tonight, if he grabs a couple of hits and stays hot as he was in August, relatively speaking, to get over the Mendoza line. Is at 198. And that would be a meaningful boundary for Zahn to cross.
And he hit the ball hard last time up, hit that line drive to third base, and with nobody out, with the pitcher spot down at the end and a good chance for the pitcher to hit here, and the bullpen is busy again. So Jim Leland knows that this is a shot to try to get some runs on the scoreboard.
Morris really angry with himself as he misses again. 3-0.
And letting the fans know in the Founders box seats how mad he is.
Founders box, you can hear him in the upper deck. We can hear him right here in the booth. And not something for your 6th graders' ears to want to gather in. I hope they're in bed. Rob Stanifer warming up. And a pop-up by Zahn. Shields, the second baseman, with the infield fly in effect, makes the catch in center. So Zahn can't get it done here. 1 out. And a great big out there, too, for Matt Morris. That's going to take the sting off of going to 3-0 on Zahn, because now you get the light-hitting Luis Castillo, who has not hit much from the left side, and then the pitcher coming.
Yeah, and you have a decision to make if you're Jim Leland. If Castillo makes out and there are 2 down and the runners are still on, he might elect to go ahead and let Levon hit.
What do you think?
I think he'll probably let him hit. Sure, now if there is 1 out and all of a sudden maybe bases loaded or a run in, Now I think he pinch hits and tries to go for more runs.
1 ball, 1 strike on Castillo. Luis from this side of the plate has actually done a better job than from the right side of the plate. Although that has not been the case in his brief major league career most of the time. But he's hitting 193 lefty, 148 right-handed. Although that really doesn't mean a whole lot when you're batting under 200 from both sides.
A lot of it's just selection. He hit 286 at Charlotte, so he was able to put the bat on the ball.
He got a piece of it, just tapped it foul under the catcher. 1-2. Matt Morris can bring it pretty good. His fastball tonight has been up there around 96. So he's recovered fully from that strained shoulder that had him on the disabled list, but it really torpedoed what could have been a great year for him in his sophomore season.
Oh man, you think about not only him as an individual, but their ball club. You put him healthy, you put a Todd Stottlemyre. Had they not had the contract situation with Andy Bennis and losing him, there are 3 quality starters right there.
And his brother Alan, who's of course been hurt. Alan Bennis, who also was a very valuable part of that rotation, has been decimated. Castillo tried to check, and he did. So he gets a break from the third base ump, Angel Hernandez. Let's take another look.
Well, let's see how far. Yeah, Louis holds it back. Good play by Marrero, though.
Floyd and Ori on the bases, 1 down. And a 2-2. Fastball high. So full count. Livan Hernandez for the moment in the on deck area. But we'll see if that changes if the bases get loaded up here on ball 4. Little chopper to short. Play at second, out there. Safe at first. So the safely on at the corners. Ori erased at second base. And Livan Hernandez will bat for himself with 2 down.
Yeah, I think that's what Jim Leland's looking at. He can get a couple more innings. Livan, last inning, even though he did give up that home run and double, he threw the ball better in the 4th and 5th than he did in the first 3. But if there had been 1 out and bases loaded, Livan wouldn't have hit here, I guarantee.
If you're just joining us, Mark McGwire has not homered tonight. He does have a hit. And Livan Hernandez does too. Cliff Floyd in to score, and Livan drives in his 4th run of the year. So the Marlins break up the shutout bid of Matt Morris. They are on the scoreboard. It is 4-1.
Well, and another reason to let Livan swing, he swings the bat pretty well.
Yeah, he does.
And how many times do we see him jump on that first pitch fastball? He doesn't let many first pitch fastballs, even if they're close, go by, and that one is right down the middle. Little hitch in that swing, doesn't quite turn on the ball, but really scalded it past DeShields to pick up the ribby.
So it's still a live inning for the Marlins. The hitter will be Todd Dunwoody, but the catcher would like a mound visit with Matt Morris, who has walked the hitter and given up 2 base hits and a run for the first time here in the 5th.
Well, we heard Matt Morris and how he tried to vent out there, and I think Marrero may just want to calm him down a little bit.
Did you ever hear Steve Carlton do that? I mean, just lose it and vent for a couple of moments?
No, I can count probably on one hand the number of times he even questioned an umpire.
Really?
Yeah, he would get so focused on the game and the tunnel. He used to call it a tunnel. He'd just look at the catcher's target. A lot of times he wouldn't even know who was hitting. And he would get in his groove. He figured if he threw his pitches, it wouldn't matter who was hitting. He'd still get him out.
A lot of times it didn't matter who was hitting.
And he worked so quickly that he did not argue very many calls.
I think you had the number at some point during an early season game, probably when he played the Phillies, of how many sub 2-hour games he pitched. But he pitched some.
Oh, quite a few, yeah.
Talking about working quick and throwing strikes and unhittable sliders. That one hit well, deep right field. Jordan back to the track and makes the catch, turning around right up against that Philly logo. Dunwoody continues to hit the ball hard, but that one didn't go quite far enough for his taste. The Marlins do get a run. And at the end of 5, 4-1, St. Louis.
Looking at air travel with a new sense of possibility. Rising is imagination.
If your Bronco's bucking, head to Discount Auto Parts. With our huge inventory of car and truck parts, we'll have you back in the saddle in no time. Discount Auto Parts, the place to start when you need parts. A reminder from Discount Auto Parts. With thousands of car and truck parts and lots of convenient locations, we can help make your Cutlass supreme again. Discount Auto Parts, the place to start when you need parts.
Folks, the Marlins in South Florida Toyota dealers would like you to use your Coca-Cola card if you have one and get the Marlins $10 real deal. That's an outfield reserve seat, a Coca hot dog, and a bag of peanuts, all that for just $10. At the same time, you can enter to win the Marlins customized Toyota truck contest. And for that, no purchase is necessary. Well, the Marlins are on the scoreboard. Livan Hernandez doing the honors himself, driving in a run. It's 4-1 St. Louis in a frame where the number 9 batter will lead off. Then Delino, DeShields, then Brian Jordan. If any one of them gets on, Mark McGwire will bat 4th in this frame.
And I'll tell you what, Dave, the Marlins came about a foot or two from tying this ball game on the ball that Todd Dunwoody hit. He had a breaking ball, he had a good swing, and sent Brian Jordan to that right center field fence.
If it leaves, we're tied. It did not. It stayed. And Marrero leads off at 2:59. In this game, he's walked and grounded to short. Let's see if getting that base hit and an RBI gets Livan Hernandez on the beam here. In the 5th, the last inning, he gave up a double, a homer, and a base on balls.
Speaking of RBIs, how about Juan Gonzalez last night? 7 RBIs for the Rangers.
A sharp grounder, but Ori will make the play and throw out Marrero. 1 man out. And for most of the first half, it looked like Juan Gonzalez was going to make a run at Hack Wilson and his 190 RBIs.
Yeah, he had a couple little injuries. He missed some games, but still having an unbelievable year. He hit his 39th home run. He has 143 RBIs.
DeShields 1 for 3 with a 2 RBI single in the 2nd inning. Juan Gonzalez making a mockery of the RBI race in the American League. Albert Bell has really had a terrific season. He's driven in 121 runs going into September.
Yeah, and he hit his 41st home run.
Yeah. But Gonzalez is blowing him away in the RBI race. Hey, who's your MVP over in the American League? Have you given that a lot of thought?
It might be Juan Gonzalez. It could be Nomar Garciaparra. He's on the verge of hitting 30 home runs. He has 29.
RBIs in the American League, a hot topic. Juan Gonzalez leading with 143.
How about Manny Ramirez at Cleveland? He's of his 118, I think he's gotten 100 the last 2 weeks.
And he's hit 34 home runs. And there's strike 3 to DeShields, caught looking. And a question for Bill Hahn. He goes down on strikes 2 away.
I'm sure a guy who will get some votes will be Derek Jeter, young shortstop of the Yankees, but there are so many others. Here's our Discount Auto Parts power pitch, and you mentioned, Dave, to see how Livan would respond after getting that base hit, running the bases a little bit. So far, he's responded nicely, gotten a couple of quick outs.
Brian Jordan is 0 for 2. He's lined out to center and flied out to center and drawn a walk. Coming into tonight, just absolutely spanking the Marlins for the year. A .533 average with 3 homers. He has 16 hits and 30 trips. against the Marlins staff. A little late there. Good heater. 0-2. The Cardinals up 4-1. McGwire is on deck, but there are 2 down. Big Mac still with 55 home runs. And a fly to right center. But Mark Kotsay moseys over. And Mark McGwire will lead off another inning in the 7th. A 1-2-3 frame for Levon. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. 4-1 the Cardinals.
The Florida Marlins are getting ready for the exciting 1999 season, and now is the perfect time to get your season tickets. You'll want to be here to see Cliff Floyd, Mark Kotsay, Livan Hernandez, Craig Counsell, and the rest of the improved 1999 Marlins as they take on their major league rivals, including visits by the New York Yankees, Baltimore Orioles, St. Louis Cardinals, and Chicago Cubs. Season ticket packages start at just $110. For more information, call 930-HITS. That's 930-HITS.
Marlins Baseball on Sports Channel is being brought to you by Aflac, insuring over 40 million people worldwide. And by Mazda. See what happens when a car company has more engineers and fewer accountants. 4-1 St. Louis ahead behind Matt Morris. Alex Gonzalez, Mark Kotsay, and then Derek Lee are the first 3 batters to face him in the home half of the 6th inning. McGwire has not homered. And in Chicago, Sammy Sosa has not homered for the Cubs. They're in the 3rd inning of their game, and it's 3-0 Cincinnati. So Sammy with 55, Big Mac with 55. Gonzalez has the bat knocked right out of his hands. Although the baseball never touched the bat, he dropped it like it was on fire.
And somehow it never touched Alex. This is where you see that fastball coming up in that area. You do everything you can to get out of the way. You don't go for style points. You just get out of the way.
Gonzalez is flying to right, grounded to 3rd. His average at 138. He's had a couple of good days at the plate since being called up. And here, a nice at bat. Langford can't get it. It's a base hit. On a 2-1 pitch, Gonzalez reaches his first hit tonight. Fans, this weekend begins the first full schedule of college football, and Sports Channel Florida has your ticket to all the inside info. Tune in every Saturday at 10 for Saturday morning college kickoff, your pregame guide to the hottest college matchups. It's all right here on Sports Channel Florida. Mark Kotsay 0 for 2. His average under 270. He needs a hot streak. Right now, not going all that well with the bat. He was 1 for 4 yesterday. And Mark had a chilly road trip in that tour of the Midwest we just got back from. 2-0.
Yeah, he had a chilly 200 road trip in a couple of warm cities. St. Louis and Cincinnati.
Oh, it was hot. St. Louis just bakes in the summer. If you've never been there, great to go and see the Cardinals, especially in this season of Big Mac. But line drive, this might be 2. DeShields spins, gets 1 on to first, a double play. A 4-6-3 turn by the St. Louis infield, and they're 2 down.
Too bad though, because the last 2 times up, Mark Kotsay has hit the ball as hard as you can hit the ball. He lined out to second in the 4th inning. And you can't hit a ball much harder than this one hopper to start the double play. Good play by DeShields as he turns. Look at Polanco right there for the feed, and then skips over Alex Gonzalez to complete the throw.
So the bases are now empty for Derek Lee. Lee has hit in 6 consecutive games. So Kotsay appears to be slumping. Lee is hitting the ball safely in just about every game. In fact, he had a 9-game hit streak at the end of July and another 9-game hit streak in the middle of August. And now a 6-gamer. He and Dunwoody are going in a positive direction here in the final month. Derek with 16 home runs. Didn't get that one. He's behind 1 and 2.
And I would imagine, Dave, with Todd Dunwoody swinging the way he is, if Mark Kotsay cools a little bit, I'm sure Jim Leland won't hesitate to get Preston Wilson in there against some left-handed pitching.
We're looking forward to seeing Preston. After a big season in the minors, he's here as a September call-up.
Matter of fact, a lefty going tomorrow night in the game for St. Louis, Kent Merker. So Preston could be tuning it up for that game.
I love this. In the 6th inning, he's got a bat in his hands. He's dying to use it. Cliff Floyd on deck. Count is 3-2 on Derek Lee.
Well, we mentioned that he did come up briefly with the Mets earlier in the year, and it was against St. Louis. And he had a couple of games against the Cardinals. He went 6 for 8. So he has had a little taste of the big leagues.
4-1 St. Louis here in the 6th. McGwire has not homered tonight yet. A fisted bloop, and Big Mac looking for it, but it's over the top of the Marlin dugout. And a souvenir.
I was talking to Preston Wilson in the clubhouse, and I said, how old were you when you came up to Toronto in the Sky Dome and took batting practice? At that time, Mookie Wilson, his stepfather, was playing with the Blue Jays. And he said, I think it was about 16, which he was, and he was hitting balls out with consistency.
At Sky Dome.
Yeah.
Behind third. Nice stab by Tatis on a fair ball, and he gets him. Derek Lee tried to help the umpire, Greg Bonet, with his own safe call. We'll take another look at that one. Derek called out at first. Another fine stab by Tatis and a good chalk-to-chalk play for the 3rd out. We go to the 7th inning. It's still St. Louis ahead by 3.
Again, baseball fans. Joe Angel, Tommy Hutton. Here we go. Top of the 7th inning. Mark McGwire is coming up to lead off. Sammy Sosa struck out his first time up tonight, Tommy, for the Chicago Cubs. As we keep an eye on the big boppers. And McGwire will lead off for the Cardinals here. Tonight, Big Mac is 1 for 3, and he takes it on the outside corner. His first time up, he hit a ball about 500 feet. But the ball went straight up in the air. His second time up, a single and a run scored. His third time up, a check swing ground out to second base.
Tell you what, Levine has been able to keep the ball away from him pretty consistently tonight.
He has made some real good pitches. That ball is hit high and deep to center. Dunwoody fading, looking up. Hack Wilson, move over. You have been tied. Mark McGwire with number 56. And he has tied the National League record. And they are going berserk at Pro Player Stadium. Look at this crowd. Well, there is no need to say a word. And McGwire takes a curtain call. Wow.
Well, he's the only guy taking curtain calls in visiting cities this year.
Hey, he got one at Shea Stadium this year. That one hit high to shallow center. Out number one.
Well, you think about it, Joe, a record, the Hack Wilson National League record that has lasted much longer than Roger Maris's. Yeah, he's so strong, it almost looked like he missed that and got under it a little bit. Doesn't have to pull it, even though center field's the deepest part of the ballpark here at Pro Player. And into the tarp, and you can see some fans out there going after that ball to get number 56.
Well, that fan took his own life into his own hands, and he disappeared momentarily.
Wow.
Well, you know that at Wrigley Field in Chicago, the Cubs and the fans there have gotten the word. Sammy Sosa taking on the Reds.
Well, Mark McGwire hit that 545-foot shot in St. Louis against Livan Hernandez. 3 of the home runs he's hit against the Marlins have been to straightaway center field.
Hit to third on a broken bat. Ori to first, got him. Out number 2.
Well, you're listening to Tony La Russa talk of the enormous amount of pressure that Mark McGwire is under and the way he's handled it. And Tony La Russa said that it is tremendously admirable, unbelievable the way he's handled the pressure on him this year.
Well, number 56 measured at 450 feet. Not among his longest. But I tell you, Tommy, once again, it was way up in the air.
Yeah, a little better than his average, though. He's averaged about 420 feet.
He's had 5 this season over 500 feet. And so the crowd at Pro Player Stadium tonight, Tommy, they got what they came to see. They saw Big Mac go deep.
And you know what? You have one more chance tomorrow night.
Hey, he may have another chance tonight. The Cardinals are ahead 5-1 here. We're in the top of the 7th inning. Corey knocked it down. Ooh, and he almost came up with a phenomenal play at third base, just to make it that close. Got to see it one more time, Tommy. Number 56.
You know, we talked about Livan, how he'd been making some really good pitches and keeping the ball away. That time the fastball was down, but it had a little bit too much of the plate. But still, McGwire had to go to straightaway center field. Wasn't one of those he could launch into the upper deck in left field. But certainly no problem with power in that area. Let's hope we find that guy.
Well, Livan has now given up 31 home runs this season. And number 31 enabled McGwire to tie Hack Wilson. And the record he set 68 years ago, back in 1930. And now Roger Maris is very much within striking distance. There it is on September 1st. And McGwire, who last year hit 15 home runs in September, is off to a good September start.
That's amazing. And Mark McGwire said up until about a week or so ago he wasn't aware of the Hack Wilson National League mark.
Into right center. Kotze. He'll get there. Well, that's it. But here on the top of the 7th inning, it has been an historic inning. Mark McGwire, number 56. And Roger Maris is now beginning to squirm.
What would you do if you had to choose between the buffalo and the giraffes? Between a flower or an elephant? What would you choose? What if you had to decide between a 100-year-old tree between drinking clean water or breathing clean air, would you make the right choice? Would there be a right choice? Now there's a way to help. Not just one, but all these things. EarthShare, the world's leading environmental groups working together. It's one choice we can all live with. Ask your employer about workplace giving.
All right, here we go now to the bottom of the 7th inning. We'll check out the True Green Chem Lawn March Toward Maris update. After Mark McGwire connected for his 56th home run just moments ago.
Well, and that march took a couple of steps with that 56th. Straightaway center field, and I'm sure Sammy Sosa at this point in Chicago at Wrigley Field has heard all about that.
Here on the bottom of the 7th, Floyd, and then Ori, and then Greg Zahn against right-hander Matt Morris. Morris, who has had only one bad inning. Remember when the game started, gave up a leadoff single to Dunwoody. After that, retired 12 in a row. Then he gave up a couple of singles, a walk, and a run in the 5th. But then he faced only 3 men in the 6th, thanks to a double play ball. And now the count to Floyd is even up at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And McGwire, Joe, will bat one more time.
There
in
you
this
go.
Game.
How about that? Mark McGwire hit one 450 feet to tie Hack Wilson. And now he's got a chance to break the record in South Florida. After that, Roger Maris will be trembling, I think, through the entire month of September. Although, Tommy, you had a nice talk with Mike Shannon yesterday. Mike Shannon, who is a very close friend of Roger Maris's with the St. Louis Cardinals. Boy, he fooled him that time. Floyd goes down on strikes.
Yeah, last couple of years of Roger's career, 67 and 68, he was with the Cardinals, and he roomed with Mike Shannon. Mike, of course, a longtime broadcaster along with Jack Buck of the St. Louis Cardinals. And he said the kind of guy that Roger Maris was, he said, a solid citizen and a guy who certainly would be rooting for Mark McGwire.
Yeah, I think Roger Maris would be among the first to demand a curtain call from Mark McGwire. Little chopper. There's Tatis. Got him. 2 gone out. Greg Zahn comes up to hit. Time to check out the Aflac trivia question now. Brought to you by Aflac, insuring 40 million people worldwide. Name 3 players whose last name starts with the same letter and hit their 500th home run in the 1960s.
Well, right off the top, I got Matthews and Mays. Eddie Matthews, Willie Mays.
Well, I think you're 2 for how many players were there? A little ground ball. That's a base hit. And Greg Zahn is heading for extra bases here. Jordan up with the ball in the right field corner. Greg Zahn a stand-up double.
Yeah, good to see Greg Zahn hang in there after lining out in the 2nd inning, picking up a base hit, getting a chance to start 2 games in a row. Able to turn on that pitch about belt high and get it past McGwire and over the bag for extra bases.
Now with 2 outs, it'll bring up Luis Castillo. Takes a strike on the outside edge. Luis 0 for 2 tonight. Well, the crowd here tonight electrified again by Mark McGwire. There was no batting practice tonight. The rain took care of that. But the game has certainly been rewarding McGwire with number 56.
Kind of interesting, the crowd last night got to see 7 or 8 balls going to the upper deck in BP.
Yep.
But they didn't see one in the game. The crowd tonight missed batting practice because there was none. And they saw one in the game.
Oh, he got him on the inside corner. Interesting, Tommy, where the ball landed, McGwire's home run. I mean, the fans are supposed to stay out of it. And I think the fan who got the baseball could have that baseball taken away from him. He's not supposed to be out there. Now we head to the 8th.
truck. The award, the new Chevy Silverado, the Motor Trend Truck of the Year. It's bigger, it's more powerful. It's the truck from Chevrolet.
Marlin Baseball on Sports Channel is being brought to you in part by Discount Auto Parts. Go with the pros you know. And by Publix, working hard at putting only the best on your home plate. Well, Jim Leland, Tommy's gone to the bullpen. That'll do it for Livan Hernandez here tonight. Right-hander Rob Staniford has been summoned. Livan goes 7 innings. He gives up 5 runs on 10 hits. He had 5 strikeouts. And along the way gives up 2 home runs, 1 to Ronnie Gant, and he gives up number 56 to Mark McGwire.
And Rob Stanifer is going to be working to a pinch hitter himself. That's going to be all for Matt Morris. Looks like John Mabry is going to step in and hit for Morris to lead things off here in the 8th inning. Morris threw 111 pitches. Livan threw 127.
Well, the Cardinals are going to be extremely careful with Matt Morris. We told you he spent about 3 months on the DL, had a very severe shoulder strain, and although he never underwent surgery, it took him a long time to recover. So the Cardinals are taking no chances. And right now, Matt Morris, it's his game to win, where the Cardinals ahead 5-1. Yeah, the paid crowd here tonight better than last night's crowd. 37,014. 37,014. Just over 36,000 here last night. Well, a pop fly, shallow left. Gonzalez goes out. Floyd coming on. Floyd makes the catch. Hey, the answer to the Aflac trivia question.
This is a pretty easy one. We came up with that third one, obviously.
3 players. Last name starts with the same letter, and all of them hit their 500th home run in the 1960s.
Well, we gave you Matthews and Mays and of course the Mick.
Those were the M&M and M boys.
I was talking, Joe, to Dave Duncan about Matt Morris, and he has quite a regime he has to stick with to keep the muscles and keep everything strong up in that shoulder area.
Mm-hmm. 2-1 out of Marrero.
And you think about some of the other teams after this series with the Marlins. The Cardinals have 5 games with the Reds. They have 5 games with Houston. 4-game series with Pittsburgh. 2 games against the Cubs. That'll be fun next Monday and Tuesday in St. Louis.
Kevin Ory back at third. Got him. 2 up and 2 down.
They have 4 games with Montreal, so you start thinking about some of the pitchers, some of the pitching that McGwire will see.
All right, so McGwire hit one tonight, number 56, and he will bat one more time here tonight. And oh, by the way, David Wells over in the American League. David Wells of the New York Yankees, and of course he's pitching at home and against Oakland, but through 5 innings David Wells had himself a perfect game going. And of course he's gone the entire year unbeaten at Yankee Stadium.
He also had that perfect game May 17th against the Twins.
Delano DeShields. And this game has gone 1 for 4. He had a bases loaded 2-run single against Livan Hernandez back in inning number 2. On deck is Brian Jordan with a count of 3-1 here to DeShields. Oh, I beg your pardon. Strike 3 on that swing and a miss. Scoreboard. Misled me and I misled you. So DeShields has struck out. It's a 1-2-3. We head to the bottom of the 8th inning with the Cardinals in command.
What's black and shiny and smokes? Toyota Tacoma, with more standard V6 horsepower, higher ground clearance, and more base payload than the competition. This truck is smoking. Toyota Tacoma, the value is real. Right now, you can get a smoking value on Tacoma and save up to $3,250.
I'm so happy, I'm floating on cloud nine. I'm so happy, I'm feeling swell, life is so sublime.
Imagine feeling this good about your car insurance bill.
So gosh darn incredibly happy.
That's happy, baby. Geico Direct. A 15-minute call could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
All right, Marlins fans, for up-to-date Marlins information 24 hours a day, visit the Florida Marlin official website at flamarlins.com.
Yeah, there's a look at the new pitcher that Tony La Russa has brought in. Lance Painter, left-hander. He's had a good year with the record. ERA in the 4s, good fastball and slider. And he'll face a pinch hitter. Looks like Jim Leland's going to send up Dave Berg, who's done a pretty good job pinch hitting. He's 6 for 11.
And oh, by the way, David Walls of the Yankees now has a perfect game through 6 innings at Yankee Stadium against the Oakland Athletics.
Pretty good offensive ball club, too, the Oakland A's.
Yankees, by the way, lead that ball game 6-0. And among other baseball developments today, Albert Bell of the Chicago White Sox hit number 42.
Oh, wow.
He's going to hit 50 this year, Tommy. Wow. So he's come back. But here's Berg now with the Cardinals ahead 5-1. They've out-hit Florida 10-5. There have been no errors in this game thus far. We have seen 2 home runs, both solos. One by Ronnie Gant, the other one by Mark McGwire, his 56th. I kid you not. McGwire hit a majestic fly ball about 450 feet. Very high and very deep and very gone.
And of course, normally in a game such as this 5-1 score, you'd probably see a few people starting to make their way out of the ballpark, but they know that McGwire is going to bat in the top half of the 9th inning. It cannot be measured what he's done for baseball this year.
Well, these last couple of games, Berg goes down on strikes. These last couple of games, Tommy, a couple of real good examples of that. Last night over 36,000. Tonight over 37,000. And of course, they get here early to enjoy batting practice.
So obviously, when they're here early, the concessions are open early. And the Marlins have been averaging about 21,000. So you figure 15 to 15,000 plus more people because of Mark McGwire.
I'd say, Tommy, I think it's safe to say that Mark McGwire this season might be the only underpaid player in baseball, because whatever he's getting, he has been worth it. Ask any ball club.
Yeah, and the media turnout here at South Florida, in South Florida, I was talking with Ron Colangelo, our media relations man, and he said that it was the largest that has turned out so far this year. Obviously, that will get a little bigger, but to this point anyway.
Dunwoody goes down on strikes. Back-to-back punch-outs here. Now Gonzalez will come up to you. Well, and again about McGwire, there's no question. He has been the show in the show this year. And of course, Sammy Sosa has been a pretty good show by himself, too. But compared to McGwire, though, he's off Broadway. Big Mac is on Broadway. And it's because he hits the ball so darn far. People just enamored of his distance. I mean, they don't come out to watch Sammy Sosa take BP like that.
Yeah, that's the amazing thing, and that's exactly right. It's because of that distance. Everybody loves watching Sammy Sosa play because he's an exciting player. He has fun when he's on the field.
Bunted. Foul. 1-2 now to Alex Gonzalez. Alex, this game is 1 for 3. Had a single his last time up. Cardinals are ahead 5-1. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning. McGwire will hit second in the 9th in the top half. You know, Tommy, it's interesting because I saw Mark McGwire when he first came up with the Oakland A's. And believe me, he did not hit the ball then like he does now.
Even though he had 49 home runs as a rookie.
He had 49 to break the Oakland club record. It had been held by Reggie Jackson. It had been 47. But many of his home runs, at least early in his career, were actually fence scrapers. I mean, he's become a much better hitter, a much more knowledgeable hitter, and a stronger hitter.
He takes a lot of pride in that. That he has worked on the ability to use his size to increase his strength the way he has over the years. He's much stronger than he was when he first came up. And then to learn how to hit, to learn the strike zone, to learn how to launch the ball in the air. Talked about how he doesn't hit many ground balls.
No. Alex, well, look at this. Lefty painter. What a painting as he strikes out the side. He just kind of brushed them off. All right, here we go. McGwire coming up second in the top of the 9th.
Ever wonder why you can't shop for a great used car the same way you shop for everything else? So did we. That's why we created AutoNation USA. Where shopping is fun, easy, and affordable. Where you'll get answers to your questions. And the right car that fits your lifestyle and your budget. AutoNation USA. We make it easy.
I'm here with Tian, supermodel and a super Florida Panther fan. Tian, could you explain to some of our newer fans the different penalty calls that happen during the game?
Oh, sure, Randy. Well, let's see. There's hooking and holding.
Ooh, I like
and
that
elbowing,
one.
slashing, and my personal favorite, cross-checking. All of which will get you a 2-minute penalty, unless, of course, you draw blood. You're not bleeding, are you?
All right, fans, here's an invitation for you to come out to the Bell South Mobility Store in Davie. It'll be on Saturday, September 5th. It starts at 10 o'clock in the morning. You'll have a chance to meet Mark Kotze and Kurt Ojala on that date. And while you're there, you can purchase the Bell South Complete Choice Plan, which includes your home telephone service and all the calling features that you need for one low flat rate. And receive a free Billy the Marlin Beanie doll at the same time.
Interesting with Don Paul coming into pitch. Of all the pitchers on the Marlins staff, he's faced Mark McGwire more than anyone because of his time in the American League. Donnie Paul with the White Sox, so he saw McGwire many times. They've matched up 13 times.
And how's he done?
Well, Big Mac has 5 hits, so 5 for 13 is 385. And
I mean, any big flies?
One of those a big fly. So 1 home run against Donnie Paul.
But first he tangles with Brian Jordan. Jordan in this game's 0 for 3. A walk his first time up. 3 fly ball out since. One ball and 1 strike to Jordan. He went. Now 1-2. Hey, Tommy, what's a pitcher thinking when he knows that McGwire's on deck and he's got a chance to break a record that has lasted 68 years in the National League? 2-2 now.
You know, if you start thinking about all of that, you don't belong out there. You really just have to concentrate on trying to make your pitch. Of course, Donnie Paul has a good forkball, and if he can throw some good ones, if he doesn't hang one, if he can get the fastball away, he's just going to pitch him the way he'd pitch another right-handed power hitter.
Kevin Ory to his left. Got him. All right, now listen to this crowd. Mark McGwire getting a standing ovation in South Florida. His last time up, he hit number 56. So he and Hack Wilson now lying side by side. They're tied for the record in the National League. Home runs in a single season. His next will break it. That ball is hit to deep center. He did it. He did it. He did it. Number 57. Unbelievable.
Oh, my.
And they are going crazy in South Florida. My goodness. I don't know about you, Tommy, but I've got goosebumps all over my body.
I was just going to say, did it get cold in here? I have goosebumps too. Unbelievable. And old man, remember he came up, he was a Bass brother along with Canseco. He's bashed a couple of tonight.
He's got 57, and he's now looking down on Hack Wilson. And he's making Roger Maris a lot more nervous. It's only a matter of time. If McGwire stays healthy and in the lineup, it's only a matter of time. Big Mac, his first home run against Walt Terrell of the Detroit Tigers when he first came up. And now you begin to wonder who's going to allow his last home run. Six to 1 Cardinals. That is inconsequential. Pretty ball hit to left field. Floyd looking up. Gone. Back-to-back home run. The one that was hit by McGwire with an exclamation point. The one hit by Langford there, just a comma.
Now let's look at this one by Big Mac. Looked like a fastball. Could have been the forkball, hard to tell, but it was out over the plate. Anytime McGwire gets those arms extended, look at that reaction. He's gone straight away center field here at Pro Player Stadium each time.
And now Ronnie Gant.
What's the 7th time this year that he's had a multi-home run game, and one of those times at Busch Stadium early in the season he hit 3.
Remember, McGwire tonight did not take batting practice because of the rain. He couldn't. That one, by the way, 472 feet. The one that tied the record was 450. I mean, that's the thing about McGwire. He just doesn't hit home runs. He hits home run hitters' home runs. He hits the home runs that home run hitters admire. I mean, Babe Ruth never hit him like that. That ball is heading for the corner. Gant will settle in at first base.
You know, with Langford hitting that home run after McGwire's, I had an interesting conversation with Langford in the clubhouse, and I was talking to him about hitting in the same group in batting practice. which he does just about every day. Langford and Jordan, they all hit with McGwire. And he said one of the things that it's made him do with all the focus on McGwire, said sometimes you get caught up in it and you start trying to match him and hit one long, but for the most part it makes you really concentrate on just hitting the ball and working on your BP.
Gonzalez to Castillo to Lee. It's a double play. Mark McGwire, number 57, here on September 1st of 1998, and he's got plenty of time to catch Roger Maris.
It's hard on us, you know.
It's the stop and go.
You never stop.
Traffic can be tough.
It's ridiculous.
You gotta sort of stay on top of it.
It's tough being a cab, but when you get that Chevron with Techron, you know, it helps keep my engine
clean because it's a dirty job. Someone has to do it.
All the help.
No gasoline cleans your engine better than Chevron with Techron. Chevron, simply smarter.
I fantasize about Europe.
The drivers over there are crazy, man.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
The truck. The award. The new Chevy Silverado, the Motor Trend Truck of the Year. It's bigger, it's more powerful. It's the truck from Chevrolet.
Well, if you just tuned in, you made a big mistake. We certainly hope you were with us. In the top of the 7th inning, McGwire hit one 450 feet, number 56. Then in the top of the 9th inning, he hit one 472 feet, number 57, to establish a brand new National League record and break a record that had stood for 68 years. And now he is within, well, he needs 4 to tie Roger Maris. He needs 5 to break it. And Tommy, I guess the question now is, can he do it in 154 games?
Well, I know a lot of people would be centered on that. I don't know at this point if it really matters, because Roger Maris's record has actually lasted longer than Babe Ruth's record lasted. But you think about it, after tonight, 24 more games for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Well, Tommy, I think you're right. I don't think it matters one iota. And yet there are some people who will make a point of it. And so you wonder about it.
Well, it was a huge issue back in 1961.
Oh, unbelievable. Well, Kotze goes the other way with a base hit to left. The Cardinals lead the ball game here 7-1. We're in the bottom of the 9th inning, and now Derek Lee comes up there.
What a thrill that has to be for Mark Kotze, a couple of Southern California kids. Mark McGwire went to University of Southern California. Of course, Mark Kotze at Cal State Fullerton.
I think Kotze leaned over and whispered in McGwire's ear, said, "Hey, Mac, how do you do that?" 2-0 to Derek Lee. Derek 0 for 3 tonight. Well, when McGwire got to town, he had no chance to break Roger Maris's record, but he certainly had a chance to break the National League record, and he has done it. And he has done it in very dramatic fashion on his last 2 at-bats there at Pro Player Stadium. And as always, when McGwire hits in, there ain't no doubt about it. 450 and 472. Now Lee takes a walk, and now with runners on first and second and nobody out, we'll take a look at Floyd. conversation about to be broken up out there. McGwire now in a conversation with Derek Lee over at first base. Yeah, it was good to see McGwire nice and relaxed and having a good time out there.
Well, it's the thing also that I've heard him say that all the players that come by first base, the opposing teams are all encouraging and congratulating. Obviously tonight, both Mark Kotsay and Derek Lee with their congratulations to Mark McGwire.
All right, now Floyd 1 for 3 tonight. Takes a fastball strike. 7-1 Cardinals, bottom of the 9th inning. St. Louis with 4 home runs tonight. The Cardinals this season now with 182 home runs, and that is a club record. They've never hit more than that many home runs in a single season, and they still trail the Atlanta Braves for the lead in the National League in home runs. Of course, McGwire now has 57 of them. Boy, the outfield here against Floyd tonight really spread out. Well, Bobby Witt is now behind Floyd here at the bottom of the 9th inning after giving up a single and then a walk to Derek Lee. 2-1 to Floyd. On deck is Kevin Ory. Wonder what Sammy Sosa is thinking right now. His game in Chicago.
I've just been doing a little figuring, Joe, and I just looking down at the schedule for the Cardinals. Their 154th game, by the way, will be on the 18th of September, and it will be in Milwaukee. So that'll be game number 154 for St. Louis.
So he's got 17 days to hit 5 home runs. He actually has 17 days to hit 4 home runs, and to do it in 154 games to hit 61.
But again, I mean, we brought it up, but I don't think it really matters.
It means nothing.
He's already done something that Babe Ruth never did. 50 or more home runs 3 years in a row.
Mark McGwire, no question, the greatest home run hitter of all time. Little chopper up the middle. They get the out at second base. The Shields got to it behind the bag and then shoveled the ball to Palenko to get the force out. Runners at the corners now with 1 out, and it'll bring up Kevin Ory.
Third baseman, number 27, Kevin Ory.
St. Louis with 7 runs on 13 hits. Florida with a 1 on 6 hits. Bobby Witt on in relief, the ex-Marlin, the ex-Texas Ranger. Hard throwing right-hander. Runners on first and third, 1 gone. Kevin in this game is 0 for 2 with a walk. Takes a fastball for a call strike. By the way, Cincinnati now leads Chicago 4-1. That game in Chicago in the 6th inning. One ball and 1 strike. One and 2 now to Kevin Ory. Mark Kotsay's at third. Floyd is at first. Cardinals up 6. Kevin with 5 home runs, 1 of them against the Cardinals in that back-to-back-to-back job in the 9th inning in St. Louis. Hey, Tommy, any idea who might be the player of the game, or maybe the play of the game tonight? Any clue at all?
Well, I'm still trying to go over the scorebook.
The
here.
possibilities?
Yeah,
Okay.
there are a few. I've narrowed it down to 3.
3
possibilities.
What's the third? I know what the first two are. He struck him out. Out number 2.
Number 9, Greg Gant.
Now it's going to bring up Greg John with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 9th. Cardinals head 7-1. It's been an historic night at the Pro.
Oh, it sure has.
We've had a couple of Big Mac attacks. But Tommy, I guess tonight with a couple of big hacks, Hack Wilson is now looking up at McGwire.
Yeah, and of his 57 now, 5 have been against the Marlins.
And of course, Donnie Paul, Tommy, is now in the history books. Not exactly the way he wanted to get in there, but he's in there nevertheless.
Yeah, and we'd mentioned that he'd hit 1 off Donnie Paul before, so that's the 2nd career home run that Mark McGwire's hit off Don Paul.
Well, I guess Mark McGwire is going to be holding a press conference here at the ballpark right after the game. And I would imagine, Tommy, that's going to be well attended. He might be there until about 2 o'clock in the morning. Now, we're going to try to cover that press conference for you. So don't go away. We're going to try to be there for you. Trying to set that up right now. 1-2 to Greg John. Runners on first and third, 7-1 Cardinals. Sharply hit McGwire. Isn't that a fitting ending? On a ball hit to McGwire, it's been his game. It's his record. It's his moment. And we're glad to be here. Marlins are in the loss column here. St. Louis wins it 7-1. Mark McGwire with numbers 56 and 57, the new National League record.
Well, it's just an unbelievable experience. I know you and I have seen a lot of ball games. I've been involved in baseball a long, long time, and to see the crowd react the way they reacted when he hit both the home runs, and to see where he hit him and how far he hit him, just an unbelievable experience. I'm glad I was here.
Take a bow, Big Mac. You are something else. We'll be back with the final totals right after this timeout.
The Florida Marlins are getting ready for the exciting 1999 season, and now is the perfect time to get your season tickets. You'll want to be here to see Cliff Floyd, Mark Kotsay, Livan Hernandez, Craig Counsell, and the rest of the improved 1999 Marlins as they take on their major league rivals, including visits by the New York Yankees, Baltimore Orioles, St. Louis Cardinals, and Chicago Cubs. Season ticket packages start at just $110. For more information, call 930-HITS. That's 930-HITS.
Lewis with 7 runs on 13 hits and no errors. Florida 1 run, 6 hits and no errors. They leave 9. Morris the winner, Hernandez the loser, now 10 and 11. And of course the big story, Mark McGwire with not 1 but 2 home runs, numbers 56 and 57, to set a new standard in the National League. McGwire able to break a record that had lasted 68 years.
Well, we're going to get a look at both the home runs, Joe. Here's number 56 that puts Mark McGwire at a tie for that National League record with Hack Wilson, our Auto Nation player of the game. You saw the distance, straightaway center field, 450 feet. And I thought it was interesting, Joe, how, remember before this series started, Jim Leyland talked about how he was going to have his pitchers go after Mark McGwire and pitch to him. And a lot of credit has to go to the Marlins staff. They did that tonight. He had 5 at-bats. Livan Hernandez threw him strikes. He had some pitches to hit. And when Don Paul came in the game, he did not pitch around him. So give the staff credit because they went after him with their best. And that's all you can do if you're a major league pitcher. Yeah, they're going to go on the record books with home runs, but they went after him with their best.
And really, that's understandable, too, because, I mean, the Marlins are in a situation where they can afford to go after McGwire, and that's exactly what they did now. A ball club in contention, you get tight games, you know, you get into a situation where you might have to pitch around McGwire. That was not the case here. They went after him, and McGwire was able to cash in.
Which, Joe, is really an interesting theory because some people think Sammy Sosa has a good opportunity because his ball club is in contention, because the Chicago Cubs are involved in that wild card race. On the other hand, Mark McGwire maybe early in the year, because he had his ball club maybe a shot to get in contention, wasn't seeing as many pitches. Now with the Cardinals certainly out of it, he may see more pitches.
You know, what's interesting about Sammy Sosa, too, is that I know at least up until this point in the season, opposing pitchers seem to feel that they can still get Sammy Sosa out. Because in the past, Tommy, as you well know, I mean, Sammy Sosa, he could be pitched to.
Yeah, he's really made a good adjustment because Sammy Sosa you don't think of as a 300 hitter. This year he's hitting over 300, though.
All right, so Mark McGwire, numbers 56 and numbers 57 here tonight to set the new National League record. Now, we told you McGwire is about to hold a press conference here at the ballpark, and we're going to try to take you there. Right now, we'll take a break. After a 7-1 victory by the St. Louis Cardinals, Mark McGwire, numbers 56 and 57.
A typical car insurance agent is on the job during regular business hours. On the other hand, Geico insurance professionals are on the job 24 hours a day.
The primordial ooze like some psychotic cafeteria lady and dishes up the mystery meat of the human condition. My favorite part of the Jerry Springer Show is Jerry's final thought. Yeah, like all of a sudden Jerry's going to add some perspective and sanity and tie it all together. I got news for you. Jerry has one final thought. And you know what it is? Are the Siamese twin Hasidic skinheads confirmed for tomorrow? We are the rubberneckers, and Springer and his ilk orchestrate the train wrecks we all slow down to ogle. And the freak stakes have to be jacked up higher with each passing day because, let's face it, folks, we are less shockable than David Lynch in a pair of platform galoshes. And there's absolutely nothing whatsoever on the face of this planet that could possibly surprise us anymore, except maybe an AFC victory this Sunday in the Super Bowl. Well, that just about wraps this rant up, but here's my final thought. What kind of world would it be if we weren't all inexorably drawn to watching trashy chicks scream at each other right before they get a makeover that looks like it was done by a guy who paints murals on the sides of vans, only to find out that no amount of makeover will ever be enough to assuage their pain at losing their man to another hose hoochie? Of course, that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. I want to know what you think, Annika. Give me a call at 1-800-522-8673. Tonight's guest recently entered the late-night talk show sweepstakes, and I think he may already be a winner. You can catch him late nights on Fox. It's Keenan Ivory Waynes, ladies and gentlemen. Keenan Ivory Waynes. You're over there, baby. See, now that conveys to me that you're likable, and that's the thing it takes to go in the long run. Because, you know, there are nights, I don't know, I was out there in like a cold sweat, you know, when I was doing that nightly thing, and I'd think, Christ, I am so shitty tonight. And the thing that you had to learn was on the nights that you weren't hitting the ball, you got to stay likable, right? I mean, they've got to have some genial feeling about you, and obviously they do.
Well, that's true. You can't turn to the audience and go, I hate this person sitting next to me. You got to stay in the moment. You got to pretend that you really want to talk to the kid with the big teeth on Robert Townsend's show. It's like, I'm happy to have this guest, you know. No, but that's the hardest part is guest bookings.
Oh,
it's
I was bad at it.
Oh, but, you know, you go in with all these lofty ideas. You go, oh, well, I'll have Schwarzenegger on this night, and then Mel will stop by, and, you know, 2 weeks into it, it's Nipsey Russell maybe will come in, come by tomorrow. So, you know, but you deal with it, you know.
Now, what about, I know we'll talk more about daytime or nighttime in a second, but as a fan of the medium, do you watch daytime talk shows?
I don't miss daytime talk. You know, because it is, first off, it's not talk. Let's take talk out of it. It's not a talk show. This is like Network's version of Ultimate Fighting Championships. You know, it's shoot fighting. That people don't even like, you don't even know what the problem is. You're just waiting for the lady to pull the other lady's weave off, you know? You don't even care. You know, it's like, it's the best. It is the best. I don't care what your condition in life is. These shows make you feel better. You could be broke. Your woman could leave you. You could have crack and still watch this show and go, well, at least my grandmama ain't a transvestite, you know.
Yeah, well, I feel like Charles Foster Kane when I watch that stuff. Just up there on Xanadu. Now, what about, you know, it seems like the hot ticket now, as amazing as I find this, I read the ratings in the trades. Springer is moving on Oprah. Now, Oprah does a nice, tight show, and Rosie, I think, does a sweet show. But Springer is moving on these people.
Springer is a supernova. It's like, how can you not watch Jerry Springer? You know what I mean? It's like, where else on TV are you going to see a 1,200-pound man, you know, fight a midget? You know, where you going to see? It's like the show is so bizarre that it makes you get on the phone and call other people. That's why the ratings go up. You just have to pick up your phone and go, yo, man, are you watching this? Yeah, man, this midget is beating this dude's ass. It's just like, it's so bizarre. You cannot not watch that show.
And they're always the most undesirable chicks in the world. And they have 2 or 3 guys. They've got this Whitman sampler of genetic mutation that will fight over them. This always blows my mind. If you're not getting laid, ladies, get a train ticket to Alabama. They are... It is happening out in the hinterland.
You know what's beautiful about these shows is that each show has its own ethnic group of scum. You know what I mean? It's like Montel Williams always has Poor White Trash on. You know, he always has the guy in the bed sheet and teeth missing going, the white